Maya Angelou once said that you are the sum total of everything you see, smell, touch, hear, eat, forget. It's all there. Everything influences each of us, and because of that, I try to make sure that my experiences are positive. Today, I want to talk about how to stop absorbing negative energy. How often you feel like you go into a crowded place and you come out of it all dry, like there's nothing left, completely tired. It's what happens to many of us, and I've learned some important lessons as I'm an artist, I'm a creative person, and because of that I am more sensitive. I can easily absorb the energy from external places because I can use it for inspiration, I can use it to get some insights, I can use it to read patterns. But if I would not be aware of this incredible skill that I've developed, I would look at it as a curse. I would look at it as something negative. Like everywhere I go, I can absorb the energy there. I can feel the energy, sense the energy. And many of us are like that, especially highly sensitive people. So what I've learned in my life is that we shouldn't be a sponge for energy. We shouldn't be a sponge, because if you look at the sponge, it absorbs the liquid. And it only absorbs the liquid because it has nothing to offer in exchange. To stop being affected by negative energy, you must stop absorbing it. A sponge is acceptable for liquid because it's dry, it has nothing to offer, so all it can do is to consume. Once you start engaging in activities that make you feel alive, joyful, aware, creative, peaceful, confident, acknowledged, truthful, and wise, you become filled with life. Now you're not a dry sponge anymore, but rather a fire of inspiration. Fire is not affected by low energies, it transmutes them. And this is a poetic language, and as I always do, I will make it practical. I will make a practical video out of it. So how to stop consuming negative energies, how to go from being a sponge that always consumes what surrounds you, to become a fire that transmutes what surrounds you into something better. You know, if you've ever been around a person that's really alert, really creative, really inspiring, really balanced and grounded and disciplined and well aware, that person is not consuming what's around him or her. That person is radiating this unique, authentic energy. And that can be our goal, because each of us just feel better when we are alive, when we are creative, when we are grounded, when we are well balanced. So those are the qualities we need to learn to embody, right? Today I want to go deeper into it because so many people are constantly being affected by negative energy, sometimes because we are too tired, too exhausted, or because we don't know what to do, how to nurture that. And if we don't have the right knowledge and we don't have the right skills, we will not know what to do with that. So, my friends, I want to help you with that. And the first thing we truly need to become aware is to recognize that if we are feeling empty, if we are feeling dry, it's because we are exhausted by the way we're living our lives, by what kind of people are surrounding us, by where we are. We don't find any inspiration anymore, nothing fills us up with life anymore, so we've become like a dry sponge. And if you feel like that, it's completely fine. It's a moment of realization that it's time to change something. It's time to accept this present state as it is, and now look for what it can become. Look for who you can become as a product of changes you can apply in your life. And you will soon notice that it's in your power how you are experiencing your life. Like Maya Angelou said, I want to create the most positive experiences. If we are the product of everything we eat, see, read, hear, believe, and forget, everything we perceive, Everything affects us. So we have to become aware of what we choose to perceive, especially at the times when we are the most tired, when we are the most exhausted, when we are the most burned out, and we are lacking the most life, because that's when we are the most vulnerable. In vulnerability, seed is opening up to something new, right? That's when we are the most open to receive. So if at the times of vulnerability you open up Instagram page or TikTok and you consume some nonsense and some toxic information and some news, you will just feel more of that. And if you are like that and you say, oh, I have to go to my job, at my job I have to meet those people, well, it's a moment of truth for you where you have to decide what are your main priorities. Is it your well-being? Is it your mental health? Is it your emotional health? Or you will just do what you think you have to do. That's where we really set our priorities, because I know it's hard for many of us, especially at the times when we don't know, how to stand for our priorities. Often at those times, we rather just do what we are used doing. But if we recognize that everything we're doing is negatively affecting us, then we need a wake-up call, right? And for some people, they're ignoring those things until it becomes so bad that you can't ignore it anymore. So we want to prevent this to happen, right? We want to prevent this. So we have to start reading ourselves. We have to start reading our well-being, how we feel from 1 to 10. How we feel from 1 to 10, and just recognize, okay, right now I feel 2. I feel 3. It's not so much, right? So if I feel 3 out of 10, then I have to do something that will charge me up. Every single day, you charge your phone, you charge your computer, and all this technology. But how often you truly recharge yourself? Sleep is great, but what about your mental health? What about your hobbies? What about good relationships? Some good information maybe for your brain, like a good food, right? What about the food you consume? The music you're listening, is it uplifting you, empowering you? Or just feeding you up with something that is kind of decreasing your life force? Those are all the things we have to become aware. But for example, when it comes to crowded places, that's where we don't know what to do. So we need to ask ourselves what charges us with life, what charges me with life. I love cities, especially if they can offer me some great architecture. I love that. Sometimes I go visit some ancient churches because churches are often placed at strong energy spots, and sometimes if it's possible I go inside and I just feel the energy there. That's what I often do. But when places are too crowded, then we don't experience the place for what it offers. So I rather go into nature. And once we start really looking at everything from the standpoint of how we feel, we recognize that we start deciding based by what can recharge us rather than what sparks some, let's say, curiosity. What can bring some well-being into my heart, right? What can fill me up with life? You have to engage in more activities that makes you feel alive, that makes you feel creative and joyful and truthful and authentic and maybe passionate. You need to find something you're passionate about, something you love to do, and do more of it. And something that makes you more acknowledged, like reading a good book, especially the one that can bring you answers to your questions. You will notice you're not so dry anymore. You're not so empty anymore. Now you're becoming more acknowledged why you're functioning so uniquely. Most people are blindly walking through life, ignorant. And when you ask them why they are the way they are, they will say, I am just like that. That's who I am. But it's not true. We don't even know who we are. We don't even know what we are capable of. So once we start acknowledging ourselves, of our own capabilities, of some reasons why we are the way we are, we recognize, well, if I treat myself more wisely, I will become wiser, right? I will become more acknowledged. I will start actually seeing my weaknesses as something that can be managed. And I will start seeing my talents as something that can awaken a great potential within me, something that can actually transform my life. I was born uniquely the way I am, and I have to see what I have as something unique I can offer to this world. And that's where we become more aware of what can we offer to this society. Because each of us is here with a purpose, we know that. But it means that each of us is here to offer something back in return for the lessons you're receiving from it. You're receiving lessons in every situation, in every moment. And as you're learning the lessons and implementing them, integrating them, and becoming consistent with what is helpful and useful for your growth, you're eventually building up a momentum of learning and acknowledgement and wisdom that life is offering to you, only for the purpose to bring it back to society in your own unique way. So each of us is like, a vessel that is learning, accumulating knowledge. You go from accumulating negative energy to accumulating knowledge. Now you already have a purpose. You're not walking around purposeless. That's what makes you the most vulnerable for negative energies. Now you become purposeful. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to evolve. I want to expand myself. That's where you become really purposeful. I truly want to learn. I want to become more evolved version of myself in terms of wisdom, in terms of knowledge, in terms of experiences, in terms of emotional intelligence, in terms of intuition and expansion and spiritual growth. I want to evolve. And as you're evolving like that, you will notice that life will start bringing you some challenges and some tests and some people who are maybe on the same level, only to recognize how much you're truly implementing that and walking your talk, right? Are you still falling in complainment, or are you actually look at the situations from more objective perspective and you're recognizing, okay, I will not waste my talk for something that is not worthy of being said. And that is interesting, right? So you really need to recognize that you are not here to be a sponge for energy. A lot of negative energy is present around us because so many people are generating it, because we are all consuming all kinds of things. And if we don't know how to transmute it, we will just project it back to the world. So we're surrounded with a lot of negative energy. Negative energy is not a bad energy. It's just lower energy, more dense one. It makes us feel more heavy, more tired. But to an artist, a negative energy can be something to be inspired. If you look at hip-hop artists, for example, look how many incredible work they've done because they've been upset by certain situations in the culture, for example. And therefore they transform the culture through their artwork. And all of the art in this sense was helpful and is helpful in the society, even if it was often presented in sometimes looked like harmful ways and really harsh ways. It was still helpful because it woke up people to a new level of seeing the truth or the present situation. And many of those people were not affected by negative energies. They used them for their own inspiration. So we can see that again as a mirroring effect on the certain negative situation that can be used through a creative process from which we can all learn and therefore ascend to a new level. Like, for example, if I would, feel really dark about the present situation and I would make some dark paintings, you may look at them from a sense like, oh, this person is going through something dark. But if you would look at it from a standpoint of an inspired artist, you would look at those dark paintings as, oh, it's a reflection of what's happening on the world, and you would most probably feel inspired by it to create something even greater out of it. And that's how we slowly start enlightening the darkness. That's the function of the fire that is constantly transmuting the denser energies into lighter ones. If you put wood onto a fire, wood is a material thing because it's made out of really dense energy. That's why it's more matter than energy. But if you put it onto fire, it will slowly transform into energy, into lighter energy, into light. That's why it firstly starts lightening up, it starts glittering until it almost disappears, and what it left behind is dust. Right? That's the transmutation. But it doesn't disappear, it just changes its form, because energy can't be destroyed, it can only be transformed, right? So if you're constantly consuming negative energy, my friend, remind yourself that you're being a sponge because you're dry and you're empty and most probably you're purposeless. And once you acknowledge that you are like that, you have to ask yourself, what can fill me up with life? For what I could exchange this lifestyle? What could be a better exchange for what I'm doing right now? Could I manage my day more wisely so I can wake up already feeling kinda inspired for the day? Could I start the day with a good meditation and then with a good book and then with some activity like a workout or yoga or stretching? And even if it becomes a routine and routine becomes boring, keep updating them, keep renewing them. We are creatures that often need to be renewed because life is constantly changing and transforming, and that's what we should do as well. So routines can serve us until they're not serving us anymore, right? So we constantly need to renewing them. We can't stay the same. So we have to keep renewing ourselves, keep updating ourselves. But we have to have a structure in a day that can allow us to feel alive. And of course, there will be days when we'll be exposed to more maybe crowded places or more stress at our jobs or whatever, or in our families. And those are the days where we notice, okay, my well-being is going onto 1 out of 10, which is a sign that I have to have an extra self-care. I have to take care of myself. I have to spend more time in nature. Hug some trees, my friends. Talk with some beautiful people. Hang with some animals. They know how to shake off this old energy. Just observe them. They just shake it off. That's what they do. And you can do it as well. Your nervous system will be grateful to you. Do some yoga nidra. That's how you relax your nervous system. Do some good meditation. That's how you relax your mind. And then feed your mind with something that will uplift you, with something that will empower you, something that will acknowledge you. Not just some positivity, but also some practicality, some maybe good philosophy. And maybe study some spiritual literature that can remind you of who you truly are, so we can practice then connection with the spirit. So you remind yourself you're not just what's happening in the world, you're also the infinite field that connects everything that's happening on the world. And therefore, maybe if you raise your energy a little bit more, you can create some great effects on this planet that will be reflecting the change in your state of being. And the power is within you, my friend. So go from being a sponge to being a fire of inspiration. Someone will see you as an inspiration because you will go from consuming negativity to projecting more positivity. And you will become by nature more positive, not because you're forcing yourself to be, but because you will notice that that's your nature. You will notice that you're naturally a being of transmutation. You naturally want to see inspiration in something dark, so you would find a deep meaning or a deep truth in it, like why it is the way it is. And once you find the meaning, the truth, you also find a reason why you want to change it, or why you want to be an example of someone who doesn't support what's not serving the society anymore. And if you don't support what's happening, start supporting what you want to see. If you don't want to promote what's happening, start promoting what you want to see. And that is a beautiful work of each individual who becomes inspired by what's happening to make something greater out of it. We all can do it. That's why I say we are creative by nature. We all have creative capacities. Some use them in entrepreneurship, in business. Some use them in art. Some use them in relationships. Some use them in science. Some use them in mathematics, physics. And each of us uniquely creates something really useful that can create changes on this planet. So my friend, you may think you're a small individual, but actually you're everything you can be. You're everything already, and you just have to tap into this part of you that is infinite and bring it here, because people need you, my friend. The world needs you. So I hope you found something valuable today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. I hope you've enjoyed in today's painting. If this resonates with you, hit the like button, because it helps to bring this message to more people that need to hear it. So if you've enjoyed in it and you found it inspiring, you can find prints of it in our Etsy shop, I Draw My Passion. The link is in the description of this video. Go there, check it out. If any other painting resonates with you, it's a sign that it's for you, my friend. So thank you so much. Until next time, one love.